Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
What the heck?
Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Yes.
I see.
Oh,
It seems like you have made up your mind.
this is really cruel. She's not gonna
I
fight.
can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
Yo.
This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words.
She's
This
dancing?
shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo!
Oh, now we're making history.
She's really good at making
Why
tense.
does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
She's about to spill the secret
All
here.
right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
It's me. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We were so close to getting her to tell us the truth, and it still turned out like this in the end. It's okay though, as long as we can defeat Farina in court, we'll still have a chance to figure everything out. The final trial! Final trial, so excited.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Oh, Navia, Charlotte.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates.
So the one that forcing her to go is your
They
subordinates.
changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The
Uh-huh.
people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course,
Damn. How?
was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
Hey.
You're welcome?
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Sorry about that.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
It's not gonna be easy to deceive Farina.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As for you,
Thank you.
traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
You guessed wrong.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hope that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived into the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Is this the one that's gonna get executed? Oh. Yeah, the only thing we can do now is to judge the Hydro Archon. Still, I can't help but be a little bothered by that conversation earlier. What did Farina want to say to me right before we arrive on the stage?
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along.
Yeah, why? She almost spilled the secret. Why we need to do this? This is unnecessary, and actually.
This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something?
Oh no.
Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte!
Hey, Charlotte.
Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
Super practical gift. I never would have thought of using it this way.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Fresher. Oh my god.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
There's gonna be a lot of stuffs here. A recap
The
of what
prosecution and the
already
defense are
happened.
both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Whoa.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey,
how would you
I
know?
thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking our duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
How do you know?
Lady Farina,
Firstly.
do you plead guilty to the charge?
Oh.
Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that
Damn.
I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine,
There are
could
two
be
of you.
anything other than your true Archon.
Two of you, that you are like a mortal form of the Hydra Archon.
Even though Lady Farina
But the
can be
divine
rather
part of
eccentric,
her is
isn't
actually
it
in
going
the
too far
oratress.
to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
Damn, bro.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
The people only see you as their Archons, but that their long-held belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
I've got to think carefully. What do you think to be special about Farina exactly? Meeting with the knave?
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Such as a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Wow, it doesn't matter who gave the information. What matters is veracity of the claim.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Nervylette?
So Farina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
What?
Well, it is true
No
that it's
way.
extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well,
Furina?
don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, that one trial proved to be opposite. Furina actually has no control over the Oratrice at all. Yeah, in the child's conviction. Child was innocent.
Tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can just put the Oratrice aside for now. But then, Miss Furina, could you just give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon?
Yeah.
There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Furina, are you sure you're not the Archon? A brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capabilities of humans with vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
So that's why she has a vision.
Indemnitium! Yes!
In
it's all
the playable
because of
one.
Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
She's still hiding something though.
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, She really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
The Oratrice is a creation of the divine, no? If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she is just a human. And if she's only human...
It has been established that all Fontainians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater?
Primordial
If you were to believe that you are
seawater.
indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Oh. Furina, don't do
Lady
it.
Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Oh no. Oh no.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Oh!
Hey!
She actually touched it.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that
Oh my god.
she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss
way.
Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness.
Wow.
It's a great thing that the direct
God
sample wasn't
damn,
actually
Fontaine.
used. Furina could have...
I can't believe you...
But what's really going on here? Furina can't have not known the consequences of touching that water as a human. This is too unlike how she usually acts, unless it's actually more important for her to keep up her facade than to save her own life. But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Because you are reckless. Oh no. People don't believe you anymore.
Please, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
The Oratrice?
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Uh-oh. Is it gonna be the one? Furina.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
I feel really bad for her.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is...
guilty.
Guilty.
Wow. Damn, Fontaine has no chill, dude. No, she's crying. No. I can't take this anymore.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Well, as far as we know, the people who are guilty just stay in the prison. So,
according to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Huh? Even you surprised, right?
What's wrong?
Even you surprised. Can't be.
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
What?
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty.
Huh?
To be punished via the death sentence.
Wait, you said the Hydro Archon, but you're proving that she's not the Archon. Which one is the true one?
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
What, you say Hydro Archon?
We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
Uh-oh.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah!
No.
Even Vache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Instead of Farina, yeah, it said the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Aura Tree seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
My god. What is this?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Yep.
Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top
Alright.
priority.
Stop talking about your father. With some help from the other Fatui, the stone slates.
Prophecy slate?
Ah, yeah. What is that?
Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Don't worry. Father will be proud.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon releasing her divine power, turning the Oceanids into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
The people that we met, people in Fontaine, are formerly Oceanids.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
What? An association between the contents of the slates and the events in real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
What happened to the cross between Fontainians and other people, though? What if a half Fontaine's people do? Would they dissolve too? Or not? The real events.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
But why?
Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that.
So that's why people turn into Oceanids.
Turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
Alright. the real events related to the prophecies on the prophecy slates. Prophecy Slate 1. Stone slates in the ruins showing prophecy described in History of the Futures. And the first piece that was originally missing has been found by Fremine. It seems to show a former Hydro Archon using divine power to turn Oceanids into people.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater.
I
And
never
the first stone
understand
slate tells
that.
us that long ago
Wow.
the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
Holy moly, this is darker than what I thought it would be. This is even more serious than the one in Sumeru.
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Alright.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid.
But why they are become an amalgamation? Why they become one? Instead of become, a certain Oceanid, each other, Each Oceanid just become one Oceanid.
The Hydro Archon was
Each
sentenced
human.
to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Verification complete. I am in shock right now. What is actually happening?
Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The first slate reveals that Fontainians are not human. Why are you smiling when saying this?
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Wow. Second slate reveals that the crime of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontainians from the Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
As for the third slate, I'm still convinced that it should come after the fourth slate.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea?
So the judgment is actually the last one, not the one that she weeping on her throne.
So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Depicts fulfillment of the prophecy.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth.
I mean, yes, we know.
However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Well? Did you get it?
Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Alright. So why there still Oceanids around then?
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life.
I think this is a reference from the 3.8 events, where we can see like some Oceanids become human and then talk to us.
Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process.
But if wait, if they have become human, they can get married with other humans, no?
But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race.
What is that? What is that water leaking?
And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
Damn.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Yeah.
Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
Oh no. So they are in the right order, so what is the 3rd slate supposed to represent?
A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the 3rd slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice.
Whoa! Dude.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
So you are Hydro Archon after all, then?
So, what you're saying is, even though
So
we decided
confusing.
to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
I don't know.
Huh.
There's no way out
No
of
matter
this.
what, the prophecy will be
It's
fulfilled.
true.
Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
Get out of Fontaine, people.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions.
What happened to you, Neuvillette? You are the dragon after all. You are before the Archon. Will you be dissolved? No,
About
right?
the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meropide served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However,
yes.
I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
What is the true
This
source?
eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
Catastrophe.
We must find the root cause of the disaster.
The whale.
It
The
was both
whale.
dream and reality.
The freaking whale, dude. Freaking whale.
If we're talking about a
Screw you, whale.
that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
Yeah.
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
The freaking whale. You guys whaler sucks. What is that whale, by the way? Is that... Uh-oh. Movie. It's a proper cutscene. I don't think I like this. Whoa! The freaking whale is here! Oh, not even you can stop it. No! Child? So you're inside a whale all this time? That whale looks smaller than I expected. Child. He returned back. He returned back to the primordial sea. Oh my god.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
That's right. I'd wager that it's also the one that child saw when he was young.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while.
Is it from the Celestia?
It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontainians nigh impossible to resist.
Oh, so the whale wanna eat you guys all.
When it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
Sheesh.
In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late.
What do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it.
Oh no.
At this point, it has become practically... Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
Whoa.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
An impossible enemy.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
What you gonna do, traveler?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled.
Nicole?
You may view such things as the history of the future. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods. Could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Could it be that even if the prophecy will be fulfilled, there will still be a way to save people? Yes! Did I miss something? Wait, I forgot about Farina. What was it that she wanted to say to me at the last moment in the giant magic box? What is her real secret? Oh.
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina?
Farina!
No one wants you to die, Farina.
No, I still need answers.
Oh! Oh! What is that? Is that the guillotine? Is she gonna get guillotined? No. That's the real Hydro Archon right there. Farina! This is the real Farina. Farina?
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound
False
of
alarms.
bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
The god. The actual god.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Yes.
Deceiving the heavenly principles.
Why's she smiling here? Focalors.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe. Now does it?
It still sounds like the same person though. It's the same voice actor, but I think this is like the real voice of her.
She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in.
Wow.
I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor.
She has the same personality. Come on, man.
Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up.
Wow. Poor Fossilors.
But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Wow.
Transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
But why you are the one who left behind though, if the prophecy turns out to be true?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human.
Everyone's Oceanids.
And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known.
So that was... Well, Furina is Fossilors after all, I believe. So yeah, that's her dream, to become human. What the hell, Fontaine? You're just cooking too much, Genshin, what?
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being.
Oh.
The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be.
Oh.
Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy.
Wow.
Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Fossilor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness.
Oh my god. So she's not Hydra Archon after all.
Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
Wow.
It must have been torture for her.
Oh my god.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years. And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh, that's so sad. I came into contact with Furina's tears. If I remember correctly, tears often contains a being's strongest emotions. With sufficiently strong hydrosensitivity, I can form an emotional connections, just like I did with the Oceanid at the Fontaine of Lucine. Wait, could this be Furina's inner world? She is just sitting there menacingly. Furina? What is she doing on stage? Wait a moment. That probably isn't Furina. That's likely a reflection of her inner self. If I can directly speak to that self, I may be able to easily get what I wanted to know. I came here for answers either way. This opportunity is not to be missed. Let me try talking to her. I am so speechless right now. This is just too sad. Furina. So this is your actual throne, Furina. This is your actual chair, huh? You are in the middle of the stage.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self, but I must ask you to keep to the rules.
Furina?
All right. It is not my intent
Don't
to
look at me.
reprimand
Don't look
you.
at me.
There is no need to state
What is
your
this?
name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
But I don't see an audience here.
Oh, do
Just
not
let the stage
jest.
lights go off,
Can you not
please.
feel it?
If only for 1 second.
I am Focalor. The eyes
That way,
of
I can
countless
become myself
Fontanians
again.
are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Stop the act, Furina. It's over. Something's off. There's no getting through to her. Even in her heart of hearts, she's still playing the role of the Hydro Archons. What sort of resolve must she have that even her inner self and subconscious would have such an impenetrable defense? I have to find a way.
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
I am you.
Wait
But
a moment.
God.
You're mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
If this is a spoiler, it's gonna be so big of a spoiler.
What's going on?
Like imagine if you got spoiled by this.
seem to
It's not gonna be
remember
happy.
Anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all.
Oh, what a pure-hearted
you frightened
Furina.
me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway.
Wait, she's wearing black
So
clothes
if
here.
I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Wow.
Play as a god?
Oh, this is crazy.
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I guess she will get the divinity later, because she will get like a very different vision than any other
I'm
humans.
still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it.
Wow. She's a human after all. A session speech, Furina. Can we at least jog? This is too long. The throne. This is not the opera epic class, right? What? There's no Neuvillettes chair up there.
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Perhaps I should first try to act natural.
Summon courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the opera happy clays. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Farina de Fontaine, your new Archon.
Appear earnest.
In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do all within my power to lead you into an age of fairness and justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay.
Wow.
And next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
If she's human, then... well, at least some people know her being human, or what?
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's
What?
the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-back puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake?
Wow.
This is bad.
CCU's being suspected like this.
There'll be no saving the people from the prophecy.
For 500 years, come on, Genshin. This is just too cruel for her.
Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Farina. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. That is the character I'm fated to play.
The fate. This is the Farina that we know.
Very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Wow.
A personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
She might not be the god of justice, but she's the god of acting.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech.
Resolutely, with conviction.
My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep
Trust me or
faith
nay?
in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin.
Turn up the drama.
The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its god. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and applause. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine.
Close politely or end the speech empathically.
There is no trouble in this world that justice
What if I
cannot
choose the
solve.
wrong one?
All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, Valor stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice,
Whoa.
I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Damn! Damn! Furina. Alright. Scene 3. Opera House Furina. Whoever thought this story, man, it's just incredible. My god, I salute you all.
Lady Furina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true, I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
The trial is your trial. Wow.
Lady Furina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right, Deuteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
Deuteria?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me.
Oh, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Lady Furina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods after all. Still, their spirit is praiseworthy.
Dude. I've never been so speechless, ever, in Genshin history.
The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time, but it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. Alright, Furina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Wow. She's doing this for 500 years. I cannot even imagine that happen to human beings.
Lady Furina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of the follow-up.
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already. There's no need to go back over scenes I've witnessed in person before.
Lady Farina, I've waited so long for this chance to see you in this manner.
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This joyous moment is an honor for us both.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. Keep monitoring. Keep me informed should anything come up at the Institute. I don't think I let anything slip today. I must show the people that there is nothing to worry about. I just don't know when these days will end.
Oh.
I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
Wow. So, like, even Neuvillette, the dragon himself, thought this is impossible for a mere human to be able to do this. She's working so hard. Oh. Ooh. Scene 182,375.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer. A descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
She sounds a bit sad.
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Oh.
Really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
Oh, imagine seeing 20 generations.
No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it.
And here I thought Nahidas was suffering enough. Oh my god, she's even more. Get. This is too cruel, my god.
So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer? Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears.
Wow.
I want to tell someone, anyone.
Stop this, please.
But would that not destroy all I've done so far?
She can't tell anyone because that's the task that she needs to do from Fossilors.
I've conducted so many.
This is so cruel, my god.
Centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
Mirror me. Scene 182,376. I can't hold this,
Farina,
man. This is
you don't
too
have to shoulder this
cruel.
burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
That's my voice in this scene. This is today. This is great. I didn't think that this scene would replay in her inner world. Surely, I'll find out what she wanted to tell me this time.
Share my burden.
You can share it with me.
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness?
A witness in a trial. Let's go.
Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I?
Yes.
But if
Yes, you
things
can.
don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina. You shouldn't be selfish.
Doesn't matter what you say about her. She is the hero.
But what if...
The actual fucking
it's
hero
really
is here.
alright? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this once.
I really admire your determination,
Isn't
Farina.
such an outrageous thing to do anyway. To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows. Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it long and hard.
You can. Share your feelings to me. You can do it. She's still not sure about it.
I have nothing to say. I am
Aw.
Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. Everything will surely get better.
No.
All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
That's the hint. That's the hint. Just witness.
Fine.
Fine. Is that it?
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Wow.
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed to the most tragic fate. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth, is it not? How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine, yes?
Yes.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber.
Human voice.
It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along. Am I right?
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it?
Gnosis is with you, right?
Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks sufficient depth. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Excuse me?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the God of Justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Furina suffered?
Oh.
My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be, accumulated to enact this death sentence.
Wow.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia had it only been used for that purpose. Almost all of it has now been stored within the Oratrice. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia and breaking through the institution that is the Seven.
So, what? She's basically quit. I quit from Celestia. I quit from the Seven. But what happened if she died?
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon.
What do you mean?
The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand
the
your
previous
intent,
Archon? What do you mean by that?
Must be.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course.
Oh.
In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
I see.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we?
That's why you put him to become the judge of the country. To basically understand what human beings nowadays, right? So he could learn.
The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
But this guy is not the original Hydro Dragon, don't he? Because he is like the reincarnation or something?
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked.
Oh.
Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves.
Whoa.
Were they not guilty of essentially the same crime?
Celestia is basically everyone's enemy.
Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed.
Oh.
I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original power... Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human existence itself. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians as humans and their right to exist in this world would be Fontaine's original justice.
Yo, that's right.
In other words, existence was Egeria's justice. And to me, justice is the continuation of that existence.
Yeah, fuck the Celestia, dude.
Defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice enthroned over all others.
They don't deserve this hardship.
At this point, we, whether it be myself or all other Fontainians, have shouldered the burden of this sin for far too long. Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon us?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your idea too.
Yes.
At last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I have even attempted to feel as they feel. You are a devious one, Focalors.
Damn.
Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner,
No.
the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid.
No.
Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common.
Scare. Fear.
Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Oh no, Focalors. What a sacrifice. Furina. Wow. The guillotine. Even you speechless, dragon. What happened when a god died? Wasn't it just gonna be a catastrophe? Oh, the power was given to you. It's over, Furina. It's over. Thank you, Furina, for all you've done. From this moment, please live happily as a human, just as I wish we could.
I, Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Goodness. There's a real tears coming out of my eyes, man. To say that was insane is understatement. It's just too much to bear.
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
Didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry.
You obtain power?
Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the
course it is
calamities
me.
befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal.
Narwhal.
Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Come on. Let's beat up the whale. Freaking whale, man.
We're going to execute it?
The weekly boss.
Do that! It's huge!
I've already done my best to separate the power of the primordial sea from the whale. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon's
Attack
power
from
with you.
within?
We shall look for an opening together.
So we're just gonna let him devour us? Oh, we can attack it. Oh, it has the angry meters. Okay, thanks, Farina. Okay. Oh! What the heck is happening? So? Okay. Sakura Swirl. What is happening? I'm doing my best. Alright. Is he dead? Please be dead. Oh no. There's more of it. That's you! Who are you? You're a child's master. Wait, she just threw child into the hole. Hi. You're so cute though.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but oh well.
Hello.
It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime.
What? Your disciple? Your disciple is child. Your master's pet?
Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
Wow, your master's pet.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Who are you?
Hyman has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right?
Skirk.
It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak.
Damn.
But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world. So you may speak to me as equals.
What sort of person would take the all-devouring narwhal as a pet?
I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much.
Who's your
and
master?
I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks.
You looks kind of like the one coming from Honkai series.
All
Not
in
gonna
all,
lie.
it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
Serta what? Who?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Yo, even the dragon unfamiliar with that name.
So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
The Fowl?
Still nothing? Well,
How about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then?
Oh!
Or Gold Rhine-daughter?
Gold!
Ooh, that one we've heard. Rhine-daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
What the hell?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait, didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you
Your master has so many names, though.
that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What? There's a little to be surprised about, Paimon. It is natural. After all, the prophecy will surely come true. We knew this and accepted it. However...
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end,
What does that mean?
the people will all be dissolved into the waters. And
Furina.
only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne.
That's what happened outside. Everyone dead.
Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Technically, all playable characters dead. All Fontaine's playable characters. Wow. How will this water not spill out? We're literally up on the hill. Wait, what?
Hey! Help! Over here!
Oh, hey! They're still alive. What? Oh. Alright, that's the giant arc wrestling.
Initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
Wow, dude. What is this cinematic masterpiece?
Look! The water's receding!
Oh, it's going down.
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Furina.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
We're safe. The prophecy was wrong.
Oh, the trees. The trees all broke. This could possibly be the longest Archon quest ever. Oh, newspaper.
Rasula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spina di Rasula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once-overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow!
Charlotte
Paula barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jurier and Navia? They sound like real big shots.
Oh, so everything alright now? There is such a roller coaster of emotions. I would still consider Farina as the leader of this country. I mean, it goes to Novelette now, as he's like fully replenished his dragonhood thingy. But the face of Fontaine is still Farina, I guess.
So you really are here, Novelette? I didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the day.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. He took the time to greet me earlier when he passed this way. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remembered. Thank you for keeping us on your mind, what with you being busy and all. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the mystery to us.
We do nothing. The Traveler do nothing actually
It is
this time.
strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Sigh softly before telling the truth concerning what he saw that day. Fossilors deceived the heavenly principles and used Farina's endless performance.
So that's what happened?
I only saw Farina's part myself.
Fossilor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fully fledged elemental dragon sovereign! But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontainians from dissolving.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimics.
Incomplete humans.
But so long
wow.
as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood, after the fashion in which life was first brought into being on this planet.
So, primordial seawater still exists, but if they touch it,
in other
they
words,
will not
when
dissolve.
I gave my verdict, Fontainians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by water from the primordial sea.
Yay!
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone.
Wow. You could say that if it was at the moment that the Fontainians were finally truly born.
Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn Oceanids into real people too!
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Where's about Farina? The initial verdict that
I
passed
have
on
investigated
child.
his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. At most, he would have had tangential liability. As for the judgment passed by the oratrice during the trial, whether it was due to that liability by association or Fossilor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the assumption that he would be able to hold the creature off, I cannot say.
Guess Fossilor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real humans. Hang on a second. Paimon finally got another question. Back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also transformed Oceanids?
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray for children?
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Fontaine converge.
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom, but instead a form of ritual. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans in the coming months.
Paimon sorta gets it now. Either way, seems like this ritual won't be of any further use, but it'll probably live on as a local custom.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
But why there's plenty of Oceanids leaving the Hydro Archon then? It makes no sense.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted.
Wow. She's empty
She
inside.
simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
Wow.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
Yeah, where's she staying?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal.
Damn.
But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full powers as the Hydro Dragon?
After Focalor passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on, I shall hear cases and pass verdicts by myself.
Yourself.
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex, huh?
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted to me. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty of the Udex shall coexist within my person. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no longer produce indemnitium.
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay. Where are they getting their energy from?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why I cannot quite leave Fontaine immediately.
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really quite...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, there's so many information here. The Gnosis?
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something!
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power.
Oh, really?
As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs,
damn,
we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What is Gnosis actually is?
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude
It goes its meaning. Nahida doesn't need them. Zhongli doesn't need them. Everyone doesn't need them. Raiden doesn't need them.
Ask away.
What is it?
I will tell you the truth as I know it.
The next stop on my journey. Natlan.
You'll soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
Yep.
I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
Nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, The dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution.
The modern dragon.
Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the Knave that I believe may be useful to you. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
Capitano.
Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their thing.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon still got a question about the Gnosis.
Yep.
When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware of.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you.
Share it.
What is it?
In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You hurry over soon as well, all right, Nervalet?
Flashback.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. It's quite a novel blend. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before. What was it again?
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
The remains of the third descender.
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
The remains of the third descender. The Traveler is the fourth descender.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
Yeah. The third descender remains.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young.
Sounds
and I have never returned
crazy.
to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense. Which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses.
To live is in itself a blessing, but once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall all turn to curses. He once had. I am playing the female traveler.
What do you mean by that?
I have a feeling that the third descender is actually the traveler sibling. The one sibling that we have is a fake one.
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts.
Which means the sibling's
and
already
my reason
dead.
For no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know.
Wow.
If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
A running boy. Child just become a running boy now. Running errand for master. This is the longest recording I've ever done.
Whether it would prove useful or not, I wanted to pass that information on to you.
The remains of the third descender? So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play, that is what she meant to say.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should check it, which is why you gave it to the Fatui.
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary risk by keeping it here.
Okay. The Descenders, you mentioned one of them. So according to Nahida, we are the 4th Descender. This means two things. One, that the Gnosis are related to Descenders. And two, that one who came before me has already died.
I guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the 3rd Descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Why are you saying it like that?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision. That does sort of count as special compatibility, right?
Yeah.
No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels creep comparing the Traveler to the dead 3rd Descender and all.
Don't worry, I won't die so easily.
That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking. The same is true of being at court.
Genshin loved to do this.
All right. Whatever the case,
Giving info and then
crisis
left
here in
out
Fontaine's over for now.
some more details so we can keep playing.
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But
Thank you, Farina.
sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will.
Can you understand the will of the gods?
I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt one way or another, but the rain falls fairly upon all. And what, ultimately, is the difference between the rains that fall upon all of us?
Wow. I got stabbed. I got stabbed so many times in the heart just by doing this. Wow. I can't believe it. Just can't believe it. I don't know what to say anymore. It's just it makes me so speechless, not gonna lie. It is crazy of how much emotional damage that this quest is giving to me. Yeah, you can eat as much cakes as you want, Farina. You can eat as much as you want.